Ohayo gozaimasu. Ohayo. Hello, hello, hello. Ooh. Things are a little bit moved around. I just tried to move this camera just now because it was blaring a little bit last time. I just remembered before stream, but I haven't. I think it's okay. How are we all doing? Ohayo. Oh, is it Thanksgiving today? Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Thanksgiving, is it a little bit like Christmas? You have your dinner as a lunch. You have it sort of midday. I'm guessing it's a national holiday for everyone. I don't know much about Thanksgiving, to be honest. What's going on there? Yeah. Today, we're going to be doing some more dots. I've chosen a fresh side of a block so that we can start together. You can get a little bit of a feel for how I approach these blocks from the start. And in other news, I finished the Nengajo, the New Year's card for Mokuhankan. Not my own. I finished the New Year's card for Mokuhankan. And so I will be sending that off later today. I was going to give it to Ayana this morning, but it was just, they don't need it right away, and it'll be a little bit heavy for her to take to work. So I decided I'd just send it in with the black cat a little bit later. Typically early dinner food throughout the day. They're sort of similar to Christmas vibes. Sponsorship opportunity? No, I don't think so. This is actually I'm not a football guy. I don't like football. Quite vehemently disliked it when I was younger. But this is based on the Tokyo World Cup shirts, I think. Something like that. My friend is really, really into football, and he collects sort of Adidas, not this type really, but like, not Adidas even. He collects football shirts, and he has a whole like wardrobe of football shirts he's been collecting for years. And I was going back to the UK, so I bought him this one because I thought it was something you couldn't get anywhere else. The real football shirt was quite expensive, but I got myself one as well. I thought it was cool. That's enough unsponsored plugging for a brand. Should I show you the blocks? Show you the Ninja Joe blocks first. Also, I decided to leave this on this. I saw a comment about, was it on this stream or was it on a different, or maybe it was on Dave's stream. I saw a comment about someone saying they didn't really understand the way I'm carving because it's too zoomed in. So I figured we could do one. This is not very interesting work to look at that close. So maybe this time we can get a bit more of a feel for the way I'm holding the knife and stuff. Anyway, we all know about this block. This is the key block. Easy enough. There's nothing on the back. Typically, I don't like to carve on the back of blocks if I can avoid it. Then the one you've all seen. This is some patterning on, can you see it properly? This is some patterning on the top of the cover. And then we've got the Cento logo down here. Maybe we should zoom in. Yeah, and we've got the Cento logo down here. Did you all hear that? It sounded like there was a cicada in my room. And then the back, we've just got some standard shadow block. This wood was kind of thin, so that's why we've gone through. It was like less than 3 mils, I think. And then the next one for her hair. You saw me draw that. Ooh. And the other one you saw me draw on stream was this one, all carved and done. And then the two you didn't see is going to give the game away. There you go. There's the one you didn't see. And there was an obvious reason why I didn't show you, because you'd get the pattern straight away. And then there's a second block making up some bits of that. So we'll get rid of them quickly, just in case someone was still hoping for a surprise. I think the cat's out of the bag now. What's on the screen? On the blanket. Hopefully that's okay. It's a fine wave, yeah. Can you tell me how a U-gouges work? It depends on the type of U-gouge. I've got 5 U-gouges, and there's 2 different types. I got the handheld ones, and I've got the larger ones. Let me just grab that. This type I used first, and I use these like this, grabbed in my hand, and I use these with a hammer. I knock the back, and I use these to come around. I want to get under 1 millimeter away from all the lines. That's how U-gouges work. It's curved. The top. Yeah, I see a lot of people online and even people who are sharpening tools for other people, and they do it flat. This is how they come from the. I have a fresh one that I haven't sharpened yet, actually. Let me explain this a little bit better. This is how they come from wherever you buy them. They've got a flat tip on them. But this is really quite dangerous. Like, you can get away with it, but the way you're actually supposed to hold these, you don't hold them completely flat. You want to angle them away from the line. So if you've got a sharp corner there, when you start to come round like this, it can chip, it can catch the wood and it can tear lines, and it can tear the wood quite severely. So the way to avoid that tearing, because you want to angle away from the lines, I'm on this side, I'm angling this way. I'm on this side, I'm angling a little bit away this way. So the way to avoid that corner getting under the surface of the wood and catching is to round off the edges. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit more and show you. Does that make sense? So I round the tips around the corner. A little bit more tricky to sharpen like this, but not all that bad. Maybe I'm calling it wrong. Came in my tool set. A gauge that has a curve in the length along the... I'm not so sure what you mean. A curve? Are you talking about something that's just shallow curved like this? Like this one? Or are you talking about a handheld tool? No. Then those are the only curved tools I have. I have the U-gouges and I have the shallow curves. I have a handheld one as well. Like this. This is the same. It's like a bull-nosed chisel, but it's slightly curved. Like a spoon? I have no idea. Like a hook? A hook? Like a spoon knife? Drop a picture in the Discord and we can have a look at it later, and maybe I can explain. But basically, if it doesn't look like any of the tools I showed you there, I don't really use them. So let's get carving. I have a knife, need a little bit of oil. So all that explanation about U-gouges was for, it was for moot. Let's put some music on. Send a picture in the Discord. Quick drink. Let's go. My little bottle actually of camellia oil is running out. I have a larger bottle that I'll use to refill it, but it's coming to the end of its thing. Tap up my little rag a little bit, let that soak in. I don't know anything about the Discord. If you click !" Discord, I think the link should pop up. You can post pictures in there. Post it in bench talks, and I can have a look towards the end of the stream. Is there any much, if any, to gain in the more expensive tools for carving? Better materials. Yeah, there's better steel and there's different woods. Most of it, I'm not sure what the main... I think it's beech. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what these are usually made of. Thank you for the Discord. What wood is that? I don't know why I want to say beech, but it doesn't look like a beech. And then there's ebony as well. This is more expensive. But in the actual steels, there's two grades of steel. One of them is a little bit more refined, and it's like a little bit more expensive. For example, the blades here in the Kokatana, I think the cheap steel is like 4,000 something, and then the expensive one is like nearly 7,000. And it'll hold an edge a little bit better. You won't need to sharpen as often. That's basically the main advantage. It'll hold its edge a little bit better. I think if you're just starting out, I didn't switch to the more expensive blades for a long time. In the beginning, you basically won't notice a difference. If you're doing it all day, every day, the blade lasting a little bit longer after coming off the whetstone is like, saves you a lot of time. Oh, I missed the sub, sorry. Thank you so much. Giselle. Thank you. Arigato. Let me do one of these. That's the wrong button.
とてもサンキュー。
ありがとうございます。Where were we? Bit heavy on the lecturing this morning. Sorry, I'll pare it back. But I guess that was probably useful to some people. Like I said, this work has to be done by the 8th. Although I heard him give a different deadline to someone else. I got told the 8th and someone else got told the 8th, or maybe the 10th. But again, I'm not sure anyone else is going to make that deadline, so do I need to kill myself to make that deadline, you know? When it's a moot point if no one else is making their deadlines. It'd be really good if you got updates on these types of things. It looks like people are not going to finish, you got an extra week type of thing. Chance be a fine thing. I don't know what printer he used to print these out, but I really don't think it's the way to do it. All these black lines, they've smudged a little bit. I think perhaps he's used an inkjet, you know. You can get away with inkjet sometimes. But I don't know, it tends to bleed a little bit more than I'd like for stuff where there's thin lines. And the way this has been drawn, it's called kagogaki, where it's outlined and then filled in, means that all the lines around the outside have bled a little bit, and areas like that, you can't really see it here very clearly, but it looks as if there's a little bridge going across between these two dots, and then I look at the sample and it's not there. Anyway, this is a rush job. I think I don't need to look at the sample so much, you know, because It slows the process down a lot. What's the thing they say? You can choose two of the three: speed, cost, or time. Oh, it's speed, cost, or skill. You can choose any two of them. Well, the two that have been chosen for this project are speed and money. So, okay. I don't need to waste my time looking at that reference image too much. I'll just carve what I see on the block. I've got this cold that just isn't shifting, you know. It's it's really not very bad. It's just the nose, but it's been weeks now, and I'm getting a little bit frustrated with it. Friday morning here in Tokyo. And it's a really, really nice crisp day this morning. These are like some of my favorite days. You know when it's a little bit chilly in the morning, but the skies are all clear. Like I'm a winter autumn guy. I really like this sort of time of year. Especially coming out of tent, it's like really chilly and crisp in the morning, and then you wrap yourself up warm and sit. Is this the worst kind of work? Um, this work is it deadline stuff is the worst. Like when the deadline is unrealistic, that's the worst. If I had like 2 months to do this would be really chill. I'd do like a few, get some other like email work done, and then I come back, have a cup of tea, do like another few hours. Like it'd be really chilled. I'd just come in, choose a little section. I'd choose like this section here, do that, go have a little cup of tea, come back, choose another couple sections, do that, couple hours work. It'd be fine. The problem with this kind of work is that it's like 15 hours a day, sit down, don't move. I haven't been swimming in a few months. Like I've had to just give up everything in my life and just do dots. So yeah, this is the worst kind of work in that regard. But the actual carving small little dots like this, it's fine. That's just all part of the work. It's not stressful. Nice time to be carving snow. This isn't snow yet. This is autumn. These are autumn leaves. That's why your cold is not shifting. Okay, yeah, fair enough. That is very true, actually. That's definitely the reason, isn't it? Sorry for the sniffling. Although I have to admit, this week I've been a little bit tired, so I haven't been doing as many hours. I haven't been doing the really late evenings recently. Last night I did like an hour, and I was gone. So I decided if I got a stream in the morning, I can do it on the stream. The time I would have carved in the evening, we can just do it on stream tomorrow. I looked it up, and the tool is called a super shallow, but that's not going to help me much. How many prints blocks do you make a year? It depends on the complexity of the prints. Um, this year, I have no idea. Well, I've done 6 of the adolescente ones, and then the 7th is the Nengajo. And then also, it's kind of tricky to count how many you do a year, because I'm not always just doing my own productions start to finish. I'm also doing work to help out other people who are running behind schedule, or extra blocks in a series that, like, before, when Kitazawa-san, not Kitazawa-san, sorry. Oh my god. What's the name? Another cover. Jesus, it's just completely gone. I'm really bad with names. My head's like a sieve for names. They're just gone. Anyway, another carver was doing some of the blocks for the Adolescente one, and I was often helping with like color separation and doing an extra block here or there. So there's that type of work as well. It's kind of hard to quantify in terms of number of prints. Would you call it like 0.5? And then there was also like other touch-up work for Nekohake and stuff. I did some extra blocks. I reworked that. Got that one out this year. There's been a couple of larger scale anime prints for Asuka Sensei. I've done maybe 3 or this year. Maybe 3 or 4 of them. And those are full Orban size prints. I guess 3. The one I'm thinking of was probably the end of last year, so. And then there's also the tracing work, which is like the same length as it takes to actually carve the blocks, producing the image to paste down onto the block. I've prepared that as well. I've had a busy year. Have I shown an Orban on stream? There's Orbans everywhere. These are all Orbans. The one down here in the corner, that's an Orban size print. Have I carved an Orban on stream? The anime ones, the NDAs on them are quite strict. So I'm not allowed to show that work at all. It doesn't go on my Instagram. It doesn't go on Twitch. That's not public information. Although I suspect it's not as strict as it used to be. It used to be because no one was allowed to know I was the carver doing them. But I think it's become public knowledge now, or knowledge to the publisher, that I am the person doing them. But in the beginning, anyway, I still don't want to push it. So yeah, I'm pretty productive. I've made a few prints this year. And then I've also done some of my own projects. I've been working on the bonsai one, not much, but I've also made a couple of Senshafta, and I'm working on my own New Year's card now. Some carvers are more productive than others, and I'd say I'm on the top end of productive there. I think I'm doing pretty good. What you got back there, that is there's a couple prints. The ones I hang on the wall are all lower quality stuff, or like inexpensive prints that I don't mind if they get damaged. Any of my nice prints I keep in files, although I don't have that many, to be honest. All my money gets spent on tools and stuff. The one I pointed at then was the Sharaku, and that was one I got to print the mic on myself. Got a carver, got a copy of anything, everything. If not, you should make that a rule. It should be in a lot of the outside publishers. They're really not very good at doing that. I have to like be really firm and request them. But for the anime projects, I'm supposed to receive one of everything. I've received for one of the projects, but like, so I'm a little bit not so happy about that. And the one I did receive as well was printed terribly. They just gave me one of the reject copies. One of the ones where the colours was misaligned. So it's not a strict rule. It should be the way it is. But it's quite frustrating that it's not. You need an enforcer. My name is Dan Scotch. No reason. I work for liquor. What's your liquor of choice? Because if it's whiskey, I can't afford you. If it's a cheap bottle of I don't know. You're American, aren't you? I don't know what you'd call your equivalent of. Oh, what was it called? The like 9% beers you get in the UK. Anyway, strong rye, bourbon, and brandy. Yeah, no, I can't afford you. Or if I could afford you, you wouldn't like, you wouldn't be asking for liquor anymore. It'd basically be gasoline. Speaking of British things, do any of you know what University Challenge is? Have I spoken about it before? I don't think so. Is anyone familiar with it? You may have seen, no, you may have seen like reels or memes of it. The guy going, it's like a quiz show in the UK. The guy going, Hapax Legomenon. If you've seen that meme, that is from University Challenge. Anyway, it's a God. It's got to be hundreds. It's 100+ years of history to it. It's a quiz show between universities. Really, really difficult questions. And it's on TV every year in the UK. And it's like one of my favorite things. I really, really love it. I used to watch it with my mother. She thought she was pretty good. But I think I won the averages on that one. But I just realized before stream today that it's been on because they do a Christmas special as well with like postgraduates or alumni, not postgraduates, alumni. And the questions are a little bit easier and stuff, but that comes out at Christmas. So that reminded me that I've got a new season of University Challenge to watch. And that might be fun to do on stream one day, you know. Have it on in the background, get some easy carving work. And do a University Challenge stream. Just have another little camera set up under my face there. And instead of the music, we can University Challenge. It's an institution. And if you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it. If you like testing yourself, if you like quizzes, or if you have a specialist subject, particularly if you're like good at classical music or you like classic literature. Or science. More of a crossword kind of guy. I usually do pretty good at the science ones. Especially the biological ones. And then the art stuff I do pretty good at. The composers I'm not so good at. Although there are like, if you watch it enough, there's like certain tropes. So like if they ever say British composer, you can just say Benjamin Britten, and it's like you got a 50-50 chance that it's him or someone else. You know, there's not that many great British composers, so stuff like that. My favourite game show in the UK is watching the Parliament. I find it fascinating. It's quite different. Yeah. Although I don't actually much like watching the Parliament. It makes me. It's like such a. It's such a performative. We all went to Oxbridge and we were in these clubs together and we're just like having a debate and trying to lampoon each other. It's a little bit grinds 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 on me a little bit. So instead of watching any Parliament stuff, I just like I watch there's a YouTube channel called Politics Joe, and they sort of give summaries of all the PMQs and stuff. I find them quite grating to watch. Seems like you're gonna need to watch a VOD on this one. Hey, okay, because it's Thanksgiving. Of course, we're gonna have lower numbers today, aren't we? It's part of why the country doesn't work very well. Yeah. It's a very niche topic of conversation. British British Parliament. Let's move away from politics. British politics. And on to Trump. Let's talk about him. Show us the files. Go from something a bit niche to something very divisive. Maybe when my cold's gone, let's not do that today. Although I do have thoughts. But one of those thoughts is no one hearing my thoughts is not going to benefit anyone. There's no point. Divisive for the ones living in delusion. Okay. Now someone from the other side. Clap back. Oh, I'm very good. There's no one on the other side there. Excellent. Only people here with very good tastes. I think that was actually a very nice little poll we just did there. Get the pollsters on this one. You can just it's a synonym. Are you left or right leaning? Do you like woodblock car? Do you like watching people monotonously carve dots on Twitch twice a week, 4 times a week, sitting watching monotonous little carving work? If yes, anyway, maybe we could do that as a just like a Christmas special. We can get the University Challenge on technically it's quite feasible, right? I can just put another camera in there, stream my laptop monitor, and then the audio will be the same as this. We can do that, you know. I can do that. Let's do a Christmas stream like that. Book the date. One time this holiday season, we'll do an episode of University Challenge. We can have some fun. Did you ever say what this is you are carving? It is autumn leaves. This is the only sneak peek I can give you. It's something like this. Although I really shouldn't be showing you any more than that. How many blocks in this print? I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm trying to keep my head down on this one. I'm not asking too many questions because questions make my life more difficult. Questions lead to answers, which lead to further questions, which lead to me having more work on my table, and I don't want any more work on my table. So I'm told to do something. I say, okay, and then I go silent. Then I send the blocks back on date. I'm not sticking my head up above the trenches on this one. Honestly, it's been too many years of stupid deadlines. You are indeed moving along. Yeah. Before next stream, I'll choose a date and see if I can set up a University Challenge thing. We can do like episode 1, round 1 of this year's thing, which means I can't watch it until then because, Matt, I think you're all going to be accusing me of pre-watching anyway, but I'm not going to watch it until we do a stream on it. And if I can't resist, then we'll watch a different episode. In fact, maybe I shouldn't tell you the episode, so a bunch of you don't pre-watch. If you are going to start watching, if it's piqued your interest, go back to the 2024-2025 season and watch like the final or something. Watch some of them. We know you'll cave. Yeah, I probably will. We can watch an episode I haven't watched. Although I don't swear so much on these streams. Watching that show, I'll have to put an R rating on the stream. You can take up building tables in your free time and make a larger table that can hold all the extra work. No. No, let's not do that. I don't need any more work. Take a larger table to hold a bunch of those like cartoon-esque money bags. Let's do some of that. Same amount of work. More money. Has anyone read any Ursula K. Le Guin books? Sorry to change the subject. I just bought myself a new book. I was watching I'm quite into philosophy. I like listening and reading to philosophy stuff, whether that's YouTube videos or books or like audiobooks or stuff like that. And I was listening to someone talk about what is it? What do you call them? The trolley problem and stuff like that. My God, my head is blank today, you know. What's the word for the group of things? Oh my God, it's such an easy word. Starts with a D. Well, I'm getting so much stupid. I was just bragging about my skills on University Challenge. I can't even remember easy words. Anyway, there was this guy talking about dilemmas. Thank you. That'll work. It's not the word I was thinking of, but it does work. So we'll stick with that. These sort of ethical dilemmas. There we go. I've got it. A group of crows is called a murder. That was very funny, Dan. I like that. That's my kind of humor, you know. I really like that type of stuff. Anyway, there was this philosophy YouTube channel, and they were talking about ethical dilemmas. And I hadn't known that there was an ethical dilemma from one of her books. It's a short story she wrote called, what's it? The Ones Who Walk Away from Omilon? Omalon? Omilas. The Ones Who Walk Away from Omilas. And actually, it's sort of, she was inspired by a Dostoevsky novel. And the concept of it is that there's like this utopia, but there is one person suffering tremendously to facilitate this utopia. And the sort of ethical dilemma is that is it justifiable for one person to suffer immensely for the sake of everyone else having like a perfect life? I haven't read the book yet, but I gather that's what the general theme of it is. And that's going to be my reading today. I'm going to listen to that. There's actually, in that book, there's 2 volumes. I bought them both. And they got a bunch of Ursula K. Le Guin books. I really enjoyed someone else mentioned that they'd read Earthsea a long time ago, and really, really good novels. I really love them. Even as an adult, I think they are designed for kids, aimed at kids, but they're so good. I really enjoy them. It's a real shame that uh, Ghibli movie that they made about Earthsea was not very good. What you're describing is basically the Christian Christ, one man sacrificing for everyone. Mm, no, it's a little bit different. The nuance is a little bit different. The one with those who walk away from Omelon is, which, like I said, is based on a Dostoevsky novel, I think. Um, the concept there is that I believe is that someone is like in perpetual pain. The sort of Christ sacrificing is going to the cross and being crucified. But like that person got to live a life before that. They got to be a messiah and walk around and do all the things. Otherwise, it would have been a very boring. There wouldn't have been much information in the New Testament if he just like was born and crucified. I think in Omelas, this person is maybe like locked up, and I don't know how they are made to suffer, but it's a perpetual thing, sort of their whole life. It's just suffering. I think the ones who walk away from Omelas. There we go. Wikipedia. Maybe I should read it a little bit. Anyway, I'm not going to read the description actually because I don't want to spoil it too much. What are you describing? I don't see any utopia in that. Ah, okay. Oh. The greatest Russian virtue is suffering. I've not read much from like many Russian authors. I did buy a Dostoevsky book. Which one did I buy? Because I haven't read any before. Can you still call it reading if it's audiobooks? What's the new one? Absolutely, absolutely, yes, yes, absolutely not. So, yeah. What do you call it then if you're listening to audiobooks? I don't have time to read a book. That is like a luxury I don't know if I'll ever have again in my life, the way things are going. Some book Nancy's here now. I think it's still reading. The important thing is the information, not the way you're consuming the information. Unless we're talking about whether you're doing it sort of haphazardly, are you actually focused? Because the good thing about actually reading like words on a page is that you have to focus on it to. You can't sort of drift off halfway through a sentence and not read the rest of the sentence. But that's really easy to do with audiobooks. But if you're actively listening and engaged and catching every word, I think it's the same experience as reading. That's my take on that. There you go. The most shared academic knowledge is through lectures. Audio intake is legitimate. Absolutely. I'm right there with you. It's quite a different action verb. That's also very true. Dan Carlin's Hardcore History is my absolute favourite podcast ever. I will check it out. Do you read a TV show? That's a very good point as well. Um, have you read the Meditations by Marcus Aurelius? I've read the sort of the chapters, the crux, and I've listened to it, but not focused. Like there is a video on YouTube. I haven't bought the book, but there is an audiobook of it on YouTube, and I've fallen asleep to it a couple times, but I don't count that as reading it. But I've focused and like physically read some of the key chapters in that. So I can't really claim that I've read the whole thing though. The most recent one I read was Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, which is very good, sort of logos theory and stuff. And my next one will be The Myth of Sisyphus. Again, when I was younger, I read some little snippets of it, but I've never read the whole thing. But I've watched a lot of videos and stuff on Camus, and I quite like him. But actually, when I was younger, it was... I guess it's part of the reason I'm here. I was really into sort of Eastern philosophy. I liked Alan Watts. You know, you go through a phase in university, but I devoured everything from that. I watched all his lectures and stuff. There was years and years and years where it was like that was my go to sleep thing. I don't sleep very well, so I need to listen to something to go to sleep. And it was Alan Watts lectures for like a decade. So I think that's part of the reason I wanted to come to Japan. As a matter of fact, I don't actually care whether someone thinks listening versus reading is legitimate. I'm I'd entertain any argument for someone who has neither read or listened to. Okay, if you have the time to read, if you don't listen, yeah, that's basically my point of view as well. Reading is probably more. There's probably more benefit in reading a lot of the time. But listening is better than not reading, so. That was a great book, Viktor Frankl. Yeah, Man's Search for Meaning is good. It's been, I said it was the latest one I've read, but it's been a little while now. And I have a really strong memory of the front half of the book, which is like all his time in concentration camps and stuff, like his life story. I have a really vivid recollection of that, but I don't think I could succinctly tell you about his logos theory very well. I think I need to reread that. But I enjoyed it. It was a good book. Not sure why legitimate was brought up in the convo. Thinking and listening isn't reading doesn't imply that it's not legitimate to listen. Thinking listening isn't reading doesn't imply, yeah. Isn't that because you listened to the audiobook? No, it's just because it was a little while ago. I've been mostly on listening to fiction and stuff. I got into Brandon Sanderson and stuff like that. I've just when you're really overworked, it's kind of difficult to listen to sort of intensive stuff like that. So I've been listening to lighter reading recently. Because you really need to be engaged to read any philosophical books, and you also want to go back and re-listen to like the nuance of a sentence and stuff. So when you're rested and you're feeling good and your mind's sharp, that's a good time. My mind hasn't felt very sharp recently. It's mostly because I'm not sleeping enough, and so I can guarantee that Matt, the 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 Omelon book, the Omelas book is also a short story. So I'm probably gonna come back to it at another point. Like I just want to listen to the story and get the gist of it first, and then like if philosophically I'm kind of into it, then maybe I can come back and give a more critical listen to it. Yes, listen. I'm neck deep in Brandon Sanderson. I haven't read any of his more meaty books, but I read his. He did four. What did he call them? They were like four short stories, and they were really, really good. I think they do fit into his wider. Is it Legendarium? If it's not, if it's not Tolkien, I'm gonna go with it. It does. They do fit into his wider Legendarium, but they're not like his main series. They were little spin-offs he did for fun. What was it? Yumi and the Light Thief. There was a time travel one. Not Light Thief. Let me get them up. Someone will know. It's like Starlight. You mean the Nightmare Painter? Yeah. And then there was the girl who goes on the Sea of Spores, which was really fun. The Sunlit Man. Tales. No, that's the wrong. Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England. That was very good. That's the time travel one. Tress of the Emerald Sea. Very good. I really enjoyed those books. They were really, really good. The last book I read was Eugenesis Inception by A.J. Hooks. Not philosophy, but a good read. Sorry, it's not an audiobook, so I checked. Then I will wait. I will keep it in my mind and wait. I need to do some work, you know. I'm not doing much work today. It's nice though. Come for the carving, stay for the book club. Maybe we should do that. Should we do a book club of sorts? Maybe once a month? We can choose a book and you can read or listen to it. Both are valid options here. And we could have like a little 15-minute segment instead of just randomly going off and talking about books sometimes. We could do a little 15-minute section, 15, 30 minutes, something like that, once a month. Discuss the current book. I've never been part of a book club. In fact, when I was younger, I really didn't like reading. I got into reading much later in life. I couldn't sit still. I just wanted to be out. And I never read like fiction. Well, that's not true. I read all the Harry Potters and the Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, but all for book club. You don't have to be really. Maybe we just do it. I think that'd be fun. Check us out. Planning for future streams, making segments, not working. We need a title for the segment though. What's our book club segment called? And then we also need to choose a first book. We could do the short story, start with the small one. The ones who walk away from Omelas. Reading was a great joy in my youth. I got into a lot of stuff when I was older. Like I used to hate running as well when I was younger. And I really, really love running now. I think for me when I was younger, reading was a little bit not active enough. I was a little bit more fidgety. So I wanted to like do something with my hands, like painting or build something or run around or climb a tree or something like that. And then when I grew up and sort of mellowed out a little bit, became less of a little ball of rage, then I really started to enjoy my quiet times. Also, I picked up a copy of Blue Note's anniversary repress of the Horace Silver Songs of My Father, and it's a glorious vinyl. Yeah, I'm very jealous of that. Although I don't have a vinyl player. That is one of my favourite albums. Records, sorry. Okay, yeah. I can set up a little channel in the Discord. We can maybe we can do a poll. We can put suggestions. We can do a poll and then choose the book for the month. Let's try and mix it up as well. Let's do a little bit of everything. A little bit of fiction. Try and like expand everyone's purview because I do tend to. I have a real tendency to like reread my favorite stuff. Like I'm going through both Dune and what's it? Song of Ice and Fire at the moment. Because often when I'm working, like I'm the same with choosing restaurants and choosing a TV show to watch, like because it's such a big engagement sometimes. Like making the final decision, it's easier often to just go, oh, I really like this one, let's just put that on. Welcome in, Poison. So yeah, let me make a thing on the Discord. It'll probably be after December. We'll start it in the new year. After December 10th or something like that, I'll make it. I don't have time. Although it wouldn't take that long, but let me make a channel. We can maybe do like for the month preceding, we can put our suggestions down. Then on the first of the month, we can choose the new book. And then whenever the first stream of the new month is, we can do our book review, whatever we're calling it. My grandnephew, wow, never liked to read, and his mama, my niece, has a degree in English lit, but someone suggested a manga he thought he may like, and he took it, and now he talks about books frequently. That's great. Manga's a strange one for me, you know, like comic books as well. I love the art and I enjoy the stories. I don't know, there's something about comic books and manga that they feel kind of slow to read the story. I don't know, I never got into reading any manga or anything. I find that I often just want to I want to look at the images or I just want to get the story going like that. And if I'm reading the story at a pace where I'm enjoying the action and stuff, I'm not looking at the pictures. I'm just glancing through them. Does that make sense? Does anyone else have that same thing? Have you tried to read manga? It's the in between reading and listening, needing to look at the art. Yeah, it's a third thing you have to focus on. And I think that everything suffers a little bit. For me personally, for my brain. Either I'd like a manga that just no words, but just little woes and look over there and stuff like that. It's not enough for me to get my teeth into to really enjoy it. Or it's too much that it's taking away. I agree. I had a conversation with my wife about who said that she doesn't enjoy comics, especially Western comics, because they're too much episodic, disjointed. Yeah, I feel that's a good word. I feel a little bit disjointed when I'm trying to read manga. I also just I don't like the pacing, but there are some that flow well. I'm not knocking the genre at all, because some of my favorite stories are manga, but maybe I didn't cut that. Some of my favorite stories are manga, but to actually read the manga itself, I'd rather hear someone in YouTube or watch anime. We haven't done much work this morning, you know. I guess it's going slowly, but it's getting done. I thought we'd be over here by now, though. Some more oil, I think. I spent hours and hours driving to my fishing spots or painting locations, trying to find something on the radio just to listen to music. I love music. Um, just lost it. And I love music. Who doesn't? But once I found an audiobook and it changed things, it was never time wasted again. And I found I often waited at the end of the trip in the truck to finish a chapter. Yeah. No, it's the best of both worlds. It's like a good book, you can't beat a good book. And then a good book when you have nothing but time. You have to sit down in a location, but your hands aren't free and stuff. It's the perfect tool for a certain situation. And it's a situation that I find myself in like all day, every day. So I really, I'll never cancel my subscription to that. I use Audible, and I think in the past, like there was a coin system, and I'm on that subscription model where I get coins each month and I buy books with the coins. But my wife was looking to sign up to get some of her own books. But she said it wasn't a coin system, it was like a subscription model, and you don't own the books after using them. You just get like free books or something. I think maybe I'm grandfathered in. So also if I cancelled at any point then I think it wouldn't be good for me. Although if they have changed the system, I'm sure they're gonna give a grace period and then they're gonna force you onto a new system. Where are we? Yeah, the performers are really, they can really make or break it. With how popular I think audiobooks, I think they've grown a lot in the last like few years. A few years, right? Um. Anyway, there's a lot more of these theatrical audiobooks coming out, which are like more like movies. The Doom books, for example, the copy of the Doom books I have, the voice acting's so good on it. They have like multiple people. They got someone for Princess Irulan's voice, and they've got some like between chapters, some little dun dun dun, some of the Dune movie music. The guy who does the Ice and Fire books that I listen to is really great, but he mispronounces a lot of the names because it was recorded before the show, and I watched the show first, and now like a lot of the names they sound really jarring, but it's really well done, and no one can decide on what Arya's name is, Arya or Aya. Well, that was in the shows as well. But yeah, I agree. A good voice actor. The sample chapters are necessary. What's this? You listen to anything narrated by John Lee, he has an incredible voice. Unusual for some people, don't love him. I'm not sure of the name of any of the narrators. Maybe was he was he the voice actor in one of the ones I mentioned? I'll have a look. I'll have a look. Yes, I have a think about a book, and when I make the channel on Discord, you can put your suggestions in there. What time is it now? It's like 10. Oh, it's nearly time. So after this, I'll do a quick inspection of the blocks one final time. I took a couple quick impressions. Everything should be registered. There's one block I might just double check because the registration is really tight in it, but from just the quick, when I washed the blocks off, I just did a quick thing on a leftover copy I had from the Kyogo, and everything looked like it was spot on. Like I said, I'll just double check, then I'll wrap them up, head over to Yamato, post the blocks, and that'll be me done for the New Year's card. I'm gonna have to try and find time. I've been using my time during my lunch breaks, sort of like somewhere between 20 to 40 minutes, to try and do a little bit of ice ski clearing on my own New Year's card, because I'm going to run out of time to get that done. It's got to be sent away on, I can't send it on the 1st, it'll be the 3rd. So I've got to send them all away on the 3rd, and I've also got to print. And this time I want to print at Mokohankan, so I'm probably going to have to do my own dosa. I have no time. It's not possible. I don't think I'm having a Christmas this year, to be honest. Just listen to a sample of John Lee. Okay, I'll check it out. Patrick O'Brien. Never heard of him. 21 books later, I plan to start the whole series again. Yeah, maybe we won't choose a book in a series like that. Let's choose a standalone for the first book corner to do a tester. What are we going to call it then? Book club? No. We could call it Surihon. Surihon is the name for a pack of prints when they come back from the printer. They're kept in a little stack. You call it a Surihon. Or is that too kitschy? Anyway, all suggestions welcome. Liking the music tonight. It's the same playlist as every night. Same thing we listen to every night, Pinky. Music to take over the world. Let me just finish this section. When we focus, we can get some actual work done. Okay, I think we'll leave it there and just catch up with some of the messages. Move this across. Audible does have both, I believe, and you don't own it. It's relatively new subscription. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I like my coins. Oh wait. Oh, my chat is paused. More dots. You've come in just at the end of the, just at the end. We've finished with the dots for now. Mm. I don't know what I've missed. Should we see? I'll read all your comments after the stream. I'll figure it out. It's not much fun just watching me sit here staring at a phone, lost. Let me see if there's anyone. I love the dots. It's just real for you. Is it really entertaining, or you're just humoring me? You think it's entertaining to watch me carve these dots? If so, we've got hours and hours and hours we can stream with this. Let's see who is raidable. Let's go same category. Let's look for someone new. Should we do art instead, actually? Let's find an art stream. I'm just hoping that we can find an art streamer who's not a furry. I need a wireless. Oh, we were talking about manga. There's someone drawing manga here. Let's do that. Let's do that. Start raid. This person is called Lita426T. Scary. Scary name to try and read. I'm so bad at reading names. Um, mm, mm, mm. Okay, I will see you again on today's Tuesday or Friday. I have no idea. My days roll into one. Today's Friday. Today's Friday, which means tomorrow's the weekend. Is it? Um, I will see you again on Tuesday. Thank you for hanging about. I've enjoyed talking about books. I will set up that thing, but I may need reminding again. We're going to go over to this person's channel who's making manga because it's topical. And we're going to go in 3, 2, arigatou gozaimasu. Bye bye.